Welcome back, everyone, to the Seven Figure Club podcast. As you know, I am your host, Jennifer Longmore, founder of souljourneys.ca. And today I am excited to introduce you to a very special woman. She is Tara Truax. She is a creative entrepreneur and motivational coach, speaker, and author who has reconstructed her financial reality from 6 figures of debt to 7 figures of earnings at lightning speed. So we definitely want to perk up our ears for this one. She is a retired professional dancer, board certified health and wellness coach, and $1 million earner in the network marketing industry. She has built an international business with tens of thousands of people and has spoken and trained on stages globally. Her desire is to motivate others to unleash their limitless possibility. And she loves to aspire others to ascend in consciousness, aligned business ownership, and more. You can be an introvert, an empath, and an authentic, successful entrepreneur. So, welcome, Tara.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
We have so much to talk about, but I just have been exposed to network marketing for so long and have met so many people. So I know that we each have a reason for getting into it beyond just, I want to make some money, right? And I know you have a special reason why you got involved. So maybe you could give us a little bit of that background and then we'll dive into the nitty gritty.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, I fell into network marketing kind of as an accident about 6 years ago. And that seems to be kind of common for a lot of people. They have an accidental business and they don't maybe have the skills to support the opportunity in their hands. And because network marketing has a very low buy-in, people often don't commit to it as if it's a real, well, what we call a real business, right? Like maybe a brick and mortar. So because I needed a solution to a physical problem I was having, I got some products, and basically at that point, 6 years ago was a little bit different on social media. I did a post and had this business in my hands, and I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Let me go backwards and learn the skills. And so sometimes when you have an accidental business, you end up with a whole lot of accidental problems in the process. Those problems do turn into learning, but in that I became aware that the vehicle I was in was probably not the best business opportunity. The products were really great for a period of time, and that was good. But when it came from a business perspective, I needed to make a change because I couldn't help people win. And I did see the opportunity to help people win. I saw how many other people were winning, but I couldn't do that where I was at. And so I actually started looking for a place where I could help other people have success like I was having. And that is how I built our current business where I'm at. I've been here just under 3 years. It'll be 3 years in November. And this has been life-changing for not only us, but hundreds of thousands of people. And having, I don't even know, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people making in the $2,000 to $4,000 range a month, which in the network marketing industry is a very, very high percent when you're working very part-time. And so we've been able to provide solutions now globally. And then also to have, the vehicle where I couldn't help anyone win, to in under 3 years having 60 something 6-figure earners in our organization has shown that having strong business skills and structuring your business as a business owner, even with small buy-in, can actually really create a big profit. And also who you partner with, like being in alignment with that. So I'm very, very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about who we work with, who we're serving, the stories that we can connect to people, and it makes it very special. So
I'm glad you shared that. And I'm just remembering now that I've done, for everyone listening, I've done a previous episode just walking you through what to look for with a network marketing company. Because as you're sharing, Tara, like sometimes the product can be really good, but the compensation plan isn't so great. And other times the compensation plan's great, but it's really hard to get behind the product. It's kind of challenging to find a company that has sustainability, meaning like they're not just around for 2 years so that they can extract you from other companies and then go and sell the company from under your feet, right? There's all kinds of things, as we know, happen in the industry. And for people that don't know you, like I know you're one of your, well, I think it's your uncle, right? That's John Below Melchizedek. And so you're very much into the energy manifestation, that kind of thing. And so you're very discerning about where you put your energy and how you tune into that kind of thing. So just want to preface that. But I think the idea is interesting because this show is all about how do we like, what are all the different business models that allow people to generate seven figures? And network marketing, as we know, it actually is a business in a box. There really is no reasonable reason as to why it can't be successful, other than it's really just an inside job and it's all based on relationship currency, which any business is anyways. But could you maybe walk us through, some of the myths that we see around network marketing? Maybe we can debunk some of those. And then additionally, some of the snafus people get into when they join, right? Because a lot of people join because they want more money. And then they're surprised that they actually have to like talk to some people and maybe get on a phone call or two, right? So,
Well,
so what do you think are the big myths?
it's funny because I got goosebumps when you said like you can make seven figures here, but then you actually have to talk to somebody. Like you wouldn't go and open a brick and mortar business. Okay, so I live in a really small town, so if I were to open a brick and mortar business and I rent the space and I buy all the product and the storefront and everything, okay, so I invest $50,000, $100,000 in that business. I would never not put an open sign, never not have a launch, never not tell people I was in business. I wouldn't do that because I just invested $100,000. So I would put my blood, sweat, and tears into at least recouping that, because that would take that money away from our family, right? And so I do feel really, I'm pretty passionate about the very low buy-in in network marketing. It's like people putting like one toe in the water. Well, let me see if this works. But your exit strategy, well, if this doesn't work, I have A, B, C, D, and E lined up. And when someone invests like $100,000 in their business, their exit strategy is not so big because there's so much more buy-in. And so I think that there's like this mental flip we have to make, that you do, like you said, business in a box. But even a business in a box, how many people I meet on a daily basis who they actually aren't coachable, they don't want to grow themselves, they want to make the money, but then when it comes to the training, they don't want to show up and do the training. See, the thing with network marketing, as in all business, as an entrepreneur, is no one's going to do it for you. It's not a job. You are a business owner. So you don't clock in and clock out. You do have to have the self-management skills to actually show up. And yeah, show up in a message or online or on Zoom, but also show up to real people in there. Like, we're building a business with people to serve people, to show up for people. You could have really great products. Like you said, you can have a really great comp plan. In my opinion, the most important thing is the really strong community you build with people, because long term, that's what you have that holds it together. So there is a big myth that you can. I am a firm believer, like in any industry, you can come in and learn the skills and be successful. It's just, are you willing to learn the skills that may be completely different or very uncomfortable if you're not used to being a business owner that talks to people, or that's used to hiding behind maybe a screen, or, when you have a storefront business, you have the storefront actually as well. And in network marketing, you don't have a storefront, you're the storefront. So you are there, you do have to be present. And there's a lot of power in being a president. It's been very interesting in the past year and a half with what's been happening in the world with the pandemic and things like that, that it's brought almost a disconnect. And a lot of people have joined network marketing, and as fast as they've joined, they've left because they are looking for something to build a secondary stream of income, but they're not having the personal connection with people. And I think there's a lot to that I think people are missing, and starting, depending on where you're located, starting to bring back together. This last week, I got to be with a lot of people again in that space. And I will tell you, that is something I think this industry, I think more people should share about and be part, actually even use, I don't want to say a recruiting tool, but kind of is, because there's a community of supportive, like-minded people that is pretty significant and special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you shared that, because I'm thinking of the amount of people that will get into the coaching business, for example, and then they're not selling, but they don't bother to go and sharpen their saw around selling. There's a lot of resources out there, free and otherwise, to learn how to develop a skill that's going to only allow you to make more money. And people, like you said, just don't do that. So what I find fascinating, why I wanted to have you on, just also to be clear for everyone, Tara and I are not, like, I'm not a part of the company that Tara's a part of, not, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I'm not, this isn't like some sort of side door promotion. Reason why I wanted you to come on, Tara, aside from the fact that I adore you and I know just how positive you are and how awake you are and that kind of thing, is that just like any business, anyone has the possibility to get to seven figures. It's a matter of what are the inner and outer things that you, for example, needed to do in order to get there that 99% of people just aren't willing to do. Because those are the stats in network marketing, right? The top 1% will rise to the top, but those are not the people that are being spoon fed. I guarantee you that. So maybe you can give us some insight about some of the inner shifts that you needed to make in order to be able to get to seven figures.
Yeah, and what's even those statistics are really really interesting, but I actually feel like it's all business, right? And women in business particularly, and there's a lot of women in network marketing. There's a lot of women, specifically even in the company that I am with, but it really has to do. So the preparation for me to even get to where I was, where I knew I had to change the vehicle I was in so I could help a lot of people, had to do with my own growth. It had to do with me breaking through that I was worthy of receiving infinitely, that I wasn't putting a lid on the container of who I was, that I was getting very, very, very clear about, what my container of money looked like, and that how I could overflow to others. And how that exchange happened, that it wasn't always a trading time for money, or if you did this, I did this, which I call it can be conditional love, it's not unconditional, but it's the same thing about conditional abundance. So really breaking through the conditions and showing up unconditionally regardless of, fill in the blank, it didn't even matter. So breaking through that, and I had a lot of limitations in our holding me back. Growing up from my dad being an entrepreneur and multiple bankruptcies and having it all and having it pulled away. And there was a lot of things in there that would start to unravel as soon as I was like, well, why do I have this limitation that, the most I can make is, oh my gosh, if I made $10,000 a month, it'd be life-changing. Well, why is it $10,000 a month? And why isn't it $100,000 a month? Or why isn't it what else is possible? Like, why am I limiting that? And so I started unraveling, and as I unraveled it, it was like, wow, okay, that's there. Wow, okay, that's there. There was these things buried that were these limitations that were preventing me from actually showing up completely and totally as who I was. And because I wasn't completely showing up and totally authentically as who I was, like basically open to source and reflecting that back, I was bringing people to me that were also reflecting those issues. And so I've learned over time, the more authentic and the more grounded and the more present I am in my business, I still do all the skills, all the things, just the simple, I wish I could tell you there's some secret sauce to business. There really isn't. There's consistency. There's consistency in showing up, in attracting new clients, in reaching out, in following up, in closing, in tracking, in running reports, all the things. And once I really started to find joy in that, and really, to me, it's my heart of how I can serve others. How can this show up and overflow to others? It stopped putting the lid on, this is all I needed. But if I can bring this in, I can then overflow to others infinitely. And then what else is possible? So that's really where that shift happened. And it actually began before I made the move in my business about 3 years ago. But even as that happened, I did not even know. Okay, so I have this ring on right now. It's $1 million ring. As a $1 million earner, we get these rings. And my very first conference for the company I was at, I watched the very first person get the first $1 million ring in the company. And I thought, wow, like that's really incredible. But I didn't see myself there yet, because I wasn't there yet, but I had to see what was possible. And so I have learned now over time, now what we have, there's 6 of us who have these rings. And again, in a little under 3 years, there's 6 people now with those, myself and my husband included. And what I have now seen that is by us showing up, it raised the lid for other people. And it's in that we get to do this. Like, we're not in this bubble of our just us, right? we're working together as humanity, making the world a better place. And it's kind of crazy, but I actually feel like network marketing has provided such a platform for me to do that. Like, yeah, I can help people with sales so they're blue in the face, but it's not just about the sale. It's about how we can serve others in the way that's best suited for them. And I found that it's just a really great vehicle to be able to do that.
I love that. So, what do you feel the outer things were that you needed to do? Like you've described a little bit, but if you were to pull it all together, what would you say they were?
The outer things, because I feel like so much of it was inner.
Mhm.
It really was, because as my personal growth developed, I showed up more authentically as the person I was. But in that, I started to take action with more confidence. I started to speak with more confidence. I started to, if someone wasn't interested, or, there's, I think in network marketing, kind of a tendency to put your company, whatever company it is, like you're trying to sell the company. And it's actually the partnership with you that you really should be working with. It's similar to coaching. It's the partnership with you, because the company, there's like all the companies that there are in network marketing. I say 80% of the products are good, right? The products, it's not, some are great, but you can go buy product anywhere. But it's the partnership that you create with people. And when you create that partnership, you build trust. When you build trust, you build a foundation. And so in a lot of ways, it is like coaching. And then doing the daily action, regardless. If you want to be successful in business, even if you don't feel like doing it, you have to take the daily action. Your reason that you started this business in the first place can never be the reason why you don't do it. So for us, we were 6 figures in debt when I came to not network marketing, but the company I'm in now. We were 6 figures in credit card debt. And primarily that was from my son's medical bills. We've been on a very long health journey with him. And I could never say, well, he's having a bad day, I don't work my business. It never was that. It always has to be. Even this last week, I was speaking at a conference and he was having a rough week going into that. And there was no way I was not going, because he was having a rough week. My husband and I had to make some adjustments. It was a little bit of a juggle, but I was not going to not show up because of my why. Your why can never become your why not. You do have to be consistent in your daily action. And your daily action does not have to be 8 hours a day, but you cannot work a business for 30 minutes, minutes, sometimes I can't speak, 30 minutes a day and expect to be making $100,000 a month. It's not realistic. And I do believe that sometimes people market this business as that. And that's it makes me laugh. It's kind of silly. Like, yes, the people that are working their business as a business, maybe 6, 8 hours a day, but there are also days they don't work. They don't work their business one day a month and close out a month and then don't work the rest of the month. You can't do that. You have to be consistent. You have to show up. And I do manage my time. I do plan my day before the day begins. I am a mom first. I run my family as well as our business. I have 3 little kids. And my husband also works full time. And so it is a juggle. It is a bit of a dance, but I will tell you, the dance is really fun when you get to create it yourself and you don't have somebody governing what that is. But so maybe that answered the outside thing question.
Yeah, well, no, I'm glad you said that, because I've been in different levels of network marketing, meaning like I would have a lot of high earners come to me. And yes, you're right. They would outwardly tell everyone, I just do this an hour a week. And I'm like, you need to stop lying to your community, because let's be honest, you're actually working 40. And yes, that's great. You actually, they did legit have a 7, like maybe 1 or 2 million per year that they were generating, which is great. But they were giving people the illusion that they only needed to work 1 hour a day or 1 hour a week, and that they were only doing that. I'm like, no, that's not cool. You're misrepresenting, and this is part of the issue with the industry. So if you want to, if you want to clean up the industry, you have to clean up what you're saying. But what really stood out to me, what you said there, is you can't allow your why to become your why not. That's powerful. If all of you take nothing else from this, I would take that, because talk to so many parents that say they're in business for their children, but they also will use their children as the reason why they're not moving forward. And I'm not talking about the anomalies and the, out of the blue medical situations and stuff that naturally have to be tended to. I'm talking about, oh, I've just been so busy, or oh, I had to, well, like you said, you have to plan the day, and then you plan it around the things that are there, and then you figure out where are you going to plug in your hours that you're going to work in your business, right? But a lot of people will use their kids as the reason why they're not moving forward or
I,
starting the thing, right?
I laughed
So that's
when
powerful.
the pandemic hit and how many parents like, I just want to be home with my kids. I don't want to work. I want to be home with my kids. And suddenly they're all home with their kids, and suddenly they don't want to work their business. And I'm like, we have a little disconnect here. Became very apparent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's probably just because they're afraid, right, of failing and all the typical reasons why we're afraid of growing. So if someone's going to look at joining a network marketing company, right, it piques their interest. They're listening right now and they're saying, I have a business, but I could see myself starting a second business, or I'm looking for a new business model, or I've retired, but now I want to get back into business. This actually seems like it might be a fit for me. What kind of things would you recommend that they look for?
So 100%, aside from comp plan and how you get paid, you need to understand how you get paid. And if it's very complicated and you don't understand it, chances are you're not going to get paid it. So that's very important. If you can't explain to somebody in less than 5 minutes how they're going to get paid, you need to find something that you can. Then you have to have whatever product it is, product line, you have to be somewhat passionate to be able to connect and serve people in. If you have no interest in that whatsoever, you're not going to connect with the people who you want to show up and serve. And then that's going to miss what I feel is the biggest thing, is the community. I am such a huge believer of having a community and build a community where it's very inclusive, not exclusive, where you can be who you are, show up as you are, make mistakes and fail forward, where you don't have to be perfect. I gave an example this week on stage in my training, how what really got me where I am with the company I'm with, was my mentor was on stage, and she's the top earner in the company, and she cussed really loud on stage, and I just met her and I was like, oh my gosh. And she was like, oh well, and she went and hid behind the podium, and I was like, she's not going to get in trouble. Oh my goodness, I'm home. Because where people can grow and become who they are, not just suddenly expect to show up and be perfect and wear this dress and have this car. And so those type of things, like having a community with people who are having success. So this is another thing I always recommend. When's the last time they brought a six-figure developed a six-figure earner? And did they come with a big group? Because here's the thing, a lot of companies like, oh, we have these six-figure earners, and they just basically came with one group from another group from another group. And that's not having somebody like, I have a girl in our organization who, she literally couldn't make $100 in a different network marketing company and became a six-figure earner in just over a year here, just by doing the skills. So can that system develop that? What kind of systems are in place? What kind of onboarding systems are in place? Like, you wouldn't go to Starbucks on the first day to be trained as a barista and expect to know all the drinks, how to clean the machines, how to do the scheduling, how to run the register, how to manage the store. You would not be expected to do that. So what type of systems are in place that are going to help you develop the skills, so then you can teach others to do the same thing, so that can duplicate? So those are all things from that business perspective I would look at, but also partnering with people who are not necessarily your friends, but people that are going to get you to where you want to go, or help you grow to where you want to go. Because if you partner with somebody who isn't committed, who is one foot in the door, who isn't there. That's like you going and buying a storefront business with somebody that, you know, they put in 50,000, you put in 50,000, and then they don't return your calls. They don't show up, and you've invested all this in, and then they're not there. So then we see all kinds of resentment and things like that. So partner with somebody who's going to get you to where you want to grow to, and that those systems are in place. So those are the questions I would ask. And then connect with those people, find their, you know, what brought them there, what is their heart to serve, and that truly will build a really strong foundation to make a smart business decision. I always tell people, like, I'm not here to convince you. The company's here, that I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to answer your questions real and authentically so you can make an educated business decision.
Hmm. That's beautiful. And that's, I like that point because it's the same for any kind of mentorship, right? Like you really need to know what are the results, how many, you know, for someone like me that's a lot more seasoned, I would actually ask those questions like, okay, how many 6-figure earners or 7-figure earners have you personally created in your downline in the time that you've been with this company? Right. And if people can't answer that, because a lot of times we want to join with friends, but the friend, yeah, I always say, like, you have to join with the top income earners in the company because, you know, you can only fly as high as the plane that's flying you. And they clearly have figured out the secret sauce, right? Joining with a friend that is going to be making $100 a month, right? And they're happy with that, or they just don't have the personality to do that. It can feel wonky, right? When you're then out succeeding your friend and you're not really getting the mentorship you need and that kind of thing. It doesn't mean don't join with a friend. I just mean, like, if you know your friend is not really, is more of a talker rather than a walker, probably probably not going to be an aligned partnership. But the other cool thing that's happened for you is you just recently published a book,
Yeah, I did. It
#1 bestseller.
#1 international bestseller. Yeah, in 23 categories. We released on August 25th, and it is a co-authorship. It's called Women Who Shine. And I actually share our story from going from 6 figures of debt to creating 7 figures of income, but also my hindrances and holdbacks in standing up and owning that I did that in the network marketing industry, me coming over my own limitations. And blocks, like being in a group of women that are all had all made $1 million or more in their industry, and finding my, like, oh my gosh, I'm scared to say I did it in network marketing, and reflecting back, like, what is this in me? If I can make $1 million in this industry and be holding back, how does somebody feel that's made $150 or maybe hasn't made any money? What is holding them back? Okay, I need to talk about this, because if I can have these hesitations, so many people do. And this really, truly, I am such a firm believer in this industry. I have watched so many lives massively change, literally from, you know, our story from being literally, I did not know how I was going to pay for groceries, to being able to help people in line that maybe were struggling with their groceries. I've seen people on our team struggling the same way, where they didn't know their electric was about to be turned off, to be able to create something where literally they're making 6 figures a month. And, you know, people say that you have to be hungry, but you do sometimes have to be hungry to show up past your fear, to step into fear with faith that the inspired action on your heart is the thing that's going to take you where you want to go, even if you don't know what that looks like. It's placed there for a reason. And that's what I share. I share that story of transformation and abundance, and to be able to overflow and unleash those limiting beliefs. And it's been a really cool experience to get the feedback, as well as to that was probably one of the hardest things I did, was to write those words. I've done a lot of speaking, and speaking's great. Some people record it, some people remember, some people don't. But when you put it down on paper forever, and it's copywritten and it's out there to the world, I had a lot of resistance, and it was not the easiest thing for me to do. So I'm very, very proud of it. And it's very, very exciting. So thank you.
Mm, that's amazing. So how do people get that? Can they get, what's the name of the book and where can they find it?
Yeah, it's called Women Who Shine.
Mhm.
I think I gave you the link for Amazon there when I sent it in.
Yeah.
If not, I sent it in last night, but you can order it on Amazon. And you can also order it on my website, thebodywisedancer.com. There's another place. If you go through there, I can do a signed copy if you go through there with a special gift. But either way, those are options for you to do that.
Awesome. And then if people want to stay in touch with you, what's the best place to follow you and stay connected?
Yeah, awesome. So again, thebodywisedancer.com is a great way. You can connect on all my social media platforms that way. Actually, that's actually how I met Jen on Clubhouse.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
there's great ways to meet and connect that way. But I'm Tara Page Truax on Facebook, and I'm the Body Wise Dancer on Instagram. All are really great platforms. If you send me a private message, I'm pretty good to respond. And so, yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has about anything.
Awesome. Well, Tara, thank you so much for being here and sharing your journey and your insights and so on. I definitely took some nuggets away, and I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone else when I say that they will as well. So I appreciate your time, and thanks to all of you for being here. We look forward to getting your feedback on what you took away from today, and we will see you again next time. Bye for now.